Hey vocalists, my vocal artists. Today's video is going to be about riffs and runs. We're going to learn specifically about the placement. So if you remember in season 2, I spoke to you about riffs and runs and how to do them, and about how you need to have strength in your voice to be able to make sure that your notes are landing on viable platforms, if that makes sense. So like I said, whenever you want to do a riff or a run, it's a scale, and imagine the scales as steps, and all of those steps need to be strong for the notes to be able to land on them. So you need to work on vocal strength in order to make sure that your vocal agility is A1. But in terms of placement, I feel like this is really important to address, because as beautiful as riffs and runs are, if they're not done in the right place, it can be more of a distraction and an annoyance than something that actually beautifies the melody of the music. So some tips for placement. First of all, think about why you're doing it. So in terms of culturally where it came from, we see this in a lot of like gospel music, like soul music, music that derived from African Americans. And the reason being is because they use music as a way to communicate, I feel, their emotions. So you can feel the passion with which they're singing. Gospel music especially, it's a way to really accentuate the point that they're trying to make, or the expression, or to validate their emotions within the music. But if we're just singing anyhow, it's not appreciated because you're not intentional with it. So I would say, before you do it, think about what's the purpose of it. What will this do? Will it accentuate maybe the lyrics within the song, which I think is a very good way to also use riff and runs for placement. And also you can use it to complement, I guess when you get to an advanced level, you can use it to complement the band and what they are doing in terms of their progression with the music that they're playing. So think about why you're doing it, and also make sure that whatever you're doing, like I said, doesn't contradict whatever the band is playing. Otherwise it's going to be a complete mess. But most definitely, I would encourage you to practice them. Practice does make progress, but as I've heard recently, practice also makes permanent. Think about it. Okay, so practice them, think about why you're doing it, and also think about where you're putting them. And just as a last tip, for those worshippers and worship leaders out there, we have to be cautious that when you're doing it, it's not all about you, right? It's not about self. It's not about showing off how well you can sing. But does that arrangement and does that note placement make people think they're a great singer, or does that draw them more into a place of worship? Think about that, because I feel like it's very important when learning to sharpen your craft, and knowing the right space for it as well. I hope that today you were able to find some information in order to make excellence accessible in your life. I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care.